Alright, so today in the lab we will be reviewing this Ziro Marble PLA. So this is one of my favorite decorative PLAs. I don't really print stuff for decoration, but this is a fan favorite when it comes for stuff like dice towers or like chess pieces, or pretty much anything that is meant to look like a stone or like a marble statue. And you know what? Honestly, it does pretty good. So let's just get an official review going. Alright, so this is 1.75 millimeter filament. Since I don't have any printers that have 3 millimeter filament paths, it recommends a print temperature of 190 to 220 degrees Celsius. I print at 210 on my E3D V6s, so give or take that as much as you want. But again, for all these filament reviews, these will all be done on the same machine. I'll let you know of any modifications as we go on the timeline that might affect print temperatures, but this is what I experience. This filament is claimed to be plus or minus 0.05. I believe that's more than likely the case. Plus or minus 0.05 millimeters seems to be the minimum standard for acceptable quality, even though there is a considerable difference between the small end 1.7 and the high end, which is 1.8, in terms of actual volume coming out of your nozzle. But I haven't experienced too many problems with this particular brand of filament so far. So opening it up, it's just a simple box. The filament is quite vacuum shrunk. Like, I can pull and kind of pull out the plastic a little bit, and then it comes right back. So they had a good vacuum seal and some desiccant, very noticeable. So the plastic bag here doesn't actually come with a resealable container, but see, this is Ziro is the brand that really got me stoked about the resealable containers, because if you look on the inside here, you get its own separate bag for resealing the filament in. So they took a look at having resealable bags like some of the other manufacturers and said, no, we can't vacuum seal it well enough if we have a resealable bag. So let's ship it in a permanently sealed bag, have them cut it, and then, and only then, we'll put it in here. So props to you, Ziro, whoever you are. You really think of everything, and I actually have a pretty darn high opinion of this brand here. So good for you. All right, let's open it up and measure some of the initial diameters. Once again, I do measure the diameter of the filament, as I print with it. So, after an hour, after every couple hours, overnight, then that kind of stuff. So let's open her up. Something else I really like about Ziro is the reel that they give you. So it's transparent, so you can always see the level of your filament in case you don't have some sort of wave detecting filament is there. So you always know how much, so you can place it easier. And they have pretty good filament containing portions every quarter of a turn instead of like once a roll, so you don't have to have a whole bunch of filament sticking out one side or the other. So just, it's the little things a lot of the time. So that's nice. All right, and so we have this 1.7, nice and small. Still technically in their tolerance, but I'm actually kind of disappointed by that. 1.74, 1.71, 1.75. 1.69. Ho. This is actually kind of disappointing. Looks like they are coming really small on this spool. 1.68. Like, that's kind of nutty, actually. Huh. This might be a bad roll. Or I might have just gotten a golden sample the first time. You never know. Well, either way, let's throw it in the printer and see how it works over the whole roll. If this is the only spot and we just got a bad spot, I want you to know. If this is the whole roll, I also want you to know. For science. All right, so we have gone through our roll here nearly all the way. Overall, this roll came in a little small, so most of the roll is hovering in between 1.68 and 1.71 throughout the course of it. So measuring throughout the whole kilogram, I wasn't able to come up with a large swing in between it, so it's not like it was bouncing from 1.7 to 1.8, which in my opinion would be a little bit worse than what it did. But at the same time, this roll did not meet the 1.75 plus or minus 0.05. So if you are concerned about that kind of effect, please pay attention. From a printing standpoint though, it's absolutely gorgeous. These are printed at a 0.2 millimeter layer, so it's not even like anything special like a 0.1. But just looking at the layer lines and everything to do with these prints, it's clean. No stringing. I had no problems calibrating or getting this to print very well. Basically, as long as you stay within the range that's on the filament itself and hit print, it's good. The top layers look excellent. One thing in particular about the marble filament is the fact that it hides the layer line so well. Like just looking at the side, I'm gonna have a still picture that I took of this one here. You can barely tell that there are any layer lines at all because of the obfuscation from these black marble points there. So if you want a model that looks really good and looks kind of hides those layers, this is definitely one. So overall, I really like the Ziro PLAs. I heartily recommend them. You can find a link down in the description below where you can pick this up on eBay. I think it's like 21 bucks or something like that. But anyways, my thoughts are this is a great filament for both modeling and moderate use. It's not as durable as some of the other PLAs. It's not as strong as what I would expect, but it's definitely not weak either. So this is probably the prototypical PLA. It looks great. It prints very well for a great visual presentation, but it's not the strongest. So, but it hardly gets my recommendation. I love printing with this stuff. I'm going to buy a lot more filament. And if you're looking for something that will look great for like buildings or statues or anything like that, give this a try. It's definitely worth your time. I love it. So if you like the video, hit like, leave a comment below asking questions about it, or any other filaments that you might want me to review. Basically, I'm trying to go through my collection here of what I typically use just to establish a baseline, and then we can go into the more cooler exotic stuff like nylon and those kind of things there. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Hasta la bye-bye.